Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder, Anthony Joshua. The word is, shout out to Lance Pugmire, LA Times. This fight's heading to the U.S. and negotiations are moving in the right direction. E-King Fight News, more on the story, guys. Alright, E-King Fight News, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua situation, everything's positive. From what I hear, everything's positive. There's even speculation that this fight's going to get done. Guaranteed it's happening, which, nothing's official yet. But all the talks have been very positive. And it looks like what I told you previously has come to fruition. As I mentioned before, this $50 million offer looks to be what the path that Anthony Joshua is going down, and that means he's hitting the road. He's crossing that pond. He's coming over to the U.S., not the U.K. But that $50 million is contingent in an American fight, staged in the U.S. That way, the time is right for the U.S. market and the pay-per-view that will surely occur if and when this fight hits most likely Las Vegas. I know New York was the other option, but it's not going to be no New York, man. It's going to be Las Vegas. That's where the money is. Tourism, in addition to just the gambling money, man. Like, there's a lot of... You could get a great casino willing to give you money just to have that fight. I mean, that's why they call that, it's really the new age mecca of boxing. It's Las Vegas. It's New York. You can call it New York because of the great fights of the past and and the rich boxing history out at Madison Square Garden, but the real mecca has always been Las Vegas. So let's get it. E-King Fight News. More on the story, guys. Alright, so as I mentioned, there's the headline. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, talks focused. Fight the U.S. In talks described as moving in the right direction, but very slowly. The effort to stage a massive heavyweight title unification bout between unbeaten Anthony Joshua and unbeaten Deontay Wilder is concentrated on staging the bout in the U.S., while Eddie Hearn, the promoter for England's Joshua, told the Times last week, he prefers the fight to be in the U.K. That is not contingent on a $50 million offer, So that's just what it is. You want that $50 mil? You better be headed to the States. That's just all it is, man. I could have told you that. I told you guys that. So, the U.S. venue, as part of active Joshua Wilder conversation with Brooklyn's Barclays Center and Las Vegas's T-Mobile Arena, considered the leading contenders, according to the official, unauthorized to speak publicly on a matter due to the sensitivity of the talks. Joshua has some leverage since his U.S. television rights with Showtime, which has broadcast his past 6 bouts, expired following the Parker bout. Oh, there you go. It's expired with Showtime. So that's where HBO's trying to sneak in through the back door, eh? Wilder fights on Showtime, and Hearn said in March the bout will probably be next for Joshua. However, HBO is positioned to make a run at Joshua, and Hearn announced his streaming deal. He's $1 billion. That's such a bullshit figure, man. That's such a bullshit figure. It's really a 4-year, $500 million deal. Unless they're just giving him access to the full billion, which makes no sense. Wilder talks with Joshua are centered on a bout occurring between October and December. It's interesting, October and December, because Eddie Hearn mentioned that if they wanted to do it in the UK, he would want to do it in September. But it looks like that's out the window. And talks are between October and December. I know he was saying if it's in the US, they were looking at November as the month of interest. Okay, and yeah, I guess Eddie Hearn's worried that the fight might not do massive numbers, which it most likely will do. Yeah, okay, so they talk about Anthony Joshua selling out big stadiums. Um, for instance, the unknown is pay-per-view sales. For instance, 600,000 buys at $60 would generate 36 million. But there would still be satellite providers and several others to pay out the total that would include the live gate and sponsorship, and neither Wilder nor Joshua has headlined a U.S. pay-per-view. Alvarez Golovkin had 1.3 million pay-per-view buys. Really tough to project anything, the official admitted. And that's, I guess, someone on the inside. I think for this kind of fight, if you're going to stack the undercard, which they have every opportunity to do, you can charge, you can bill out a higher rate. So you can get it at $80 a pop, and if you hit anywhere near $1 million, this number goes up by damn near. If you charge $80 instead of 60, and you hit somewhere near $1 million, this number hits 80 million. So that's pretty substantial, and that could pay off both fighters easily. E-King Fight News, that's the update for now. That is the update for now. And Anthony Joshua, he's sitting pretty. He's the number one earning fighter in the game. And of course, there's Eddie bitch ass Eddie Hearn. There's Eddie Hearn. Apparently, he made a $1 billion streaming deal. Everyone brings this up. Eddie Hearn, he has this sarcastic smile on his face because he knows he doesn't directly have access to $1 billion. That's just fictitious. But what he does claim to have is more money to put on fights than HBO and Showtime combined. So he should have no problem signing American fighters up, right? Because he's got the money. That's all you need, right? Is the money. No, you need more than that. You need some political clout. You need to put some respect on that name. I don't know if Eddie Hearn has gained enough respect in that U.S. market to really dictate signing some of the best and brightest American names out there. Some of the names he mentioned are all out of the Al Haymon stable. The one name that stood out is, I know he mentioned Dmitry Bivol, which is a light heavyweight. He's a foreign light heavyweight. You know, he's still relatively unknown. These are the kind of guys Eddie Hearn's going to need to pick off, because the only fan base that will be really interested in those guys are the hardcore boxing fans. And, you know, Eddie Hearn understands the ratings, the numbers may not be the best in the beginning. But if you capture a hardcore boxing fan market and then expand on that, it's a start. Like, it's a start. You're not going to get all the great Americans at once. And the real God's to honest truth is Eddie Hearn is doing nothing different than what Bob Arum is doing right now. So let's get to that. Let's get right to that, man. ESPN, Top Rank, announced mega comprehensive multi-year agreement for a new fight series. This was in August 26th of last year, damn near a year ago. They called this television streaming direct-to-consumer and pay-per-view platforms. So, Top Rank, all Eddie Hearn is doing is what Bob Arum did a year ago. As they had, they did this announcement, and they said, you know what? They're going to do some live streaming that's going to involve select pay-per-view fight events. It will also air all top-ranked content in English and French on Canadian sister networks TSN. Oh, snap. That means it's free for me if it's on TSN. The next Top Rank on ESPN fight card scheduled September 22nd was Oscar Valdez versus Gilberto Ramirez. Oh, sorry. I had both those fighters on the card. ESPN's excited to announce this new relationship with Top Rank, the most comprehensive and innovative media agreement in the history of the sport. So, I mean, Bob Arum got to that format well before Eddie Hearn. Let's make that clear. So what's Eddie Hearn really doing? He's trying to copy off of someone that just might have found a proven formula. You King Fight News. That's all I got for now. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You know what it is.